Calgary author Will Ferguson joining us this morning. Will, of course, is a Giller-prize winning novelist. He's won the Stephen Leacock Prize for Humor 3 times, lives and works right here in the city of Calgary. Will's latest book is why he's here. It's called The Shoe on the Roof. And this just kind of speaks to your humor, Will. The book centers around a character named Thomas who was raised in a box and tries to cure 3 Jesuses. Yeah. More broadly, the book looks at like brains and if we can trust what our brain is actually telling us. And I always like to ask you guys where the premise came from for this. Was it like something you read on a...
Well, just a typical story of a med student who grew up in a box, fell in love with a painter, and tries to cure 3 Jesuses.
Exactly.
Is that the right plural, Jesuses?
I think so.
So no, it came up. My mom was a psychiatric nurse in the 1950s.
Oh.
Back when they could do just bizarre experiments. And one of the experiments they did, my mom wasn't directly involved. She worked with Dr. Humphrey Osmond in Weyburn. But they brought in 3 men who each believed they're Jesus and confronted them. The idea was, so imagine you're at a party, you meet someone named Ted, and he's like, oh, I'm Ted, and has the same name as you, the same background. Well, you host a morning show, so do I. Oh. And then another guy shows up, and he's Ted. So the idea is it'll shake you out of your delusions.
Yeah.
Of course, it doesn't work that way. In the real world, it doesn't work that way.
I've made Will promise to not tell me what's going on because I'm halfway through the book at I think what's going to be a pivotal point with respect to what's happening there. But I mean, the broader perspective is that, and you explore this in the book, is that like, can we actually believe what our brain is trying to convince us to believe?
Well, that's the old joke. They say that the brain, people believe the brain is the most important organ, and then you think, who's telling you that?
I know, right?
So your brain is constantly playing tricks on yourself. And, but the brain is a very complex web of wiring. And the title itself, The Shoe on the Roof, comes from an actual case study I read in Harborview Hospital in Seattle. And we're kind of in the Halloween season.
Sure, sure.
So this gave me a shiver when I read the story.
It's a definite shiver story.
They brought a woman in full cardiac arrest.
Okay.
She died on the operating table. And the doctors and nurses worked, and they brought her back from a state of clinical death, which happens. And they interviewed her afterwards, and she said, you know, I could feel myself floating out of the table. And they said, oh, that's the parietal lobe of your brain shutting down. You don't have a sense of being anchored. So I felt that calm and peace. That's endorphins. They were flooding your brain. She goes, yeah, but I could see a tunnel of light. And I moved towards the tunnel. They said, oh, as your optic nerve shuts down, it creates a tunnel effect. She says, these are all just delusions. She said, but I felt myself floating right above the hospital. I could see the city. So, well, you're in a dream state.
Sure.
So I could see the roof. I could see a shoe in one corner.
Okay.
They said, a shoe? Yeah, there's a shoe, a tennis shoe. The shoelaces are all tattered. They went up on the roof, and they couldn't see it, and they looked down, and there was a shoe on the roof. And when I read that, I got a shiver. That's where the title comes from, is this notion that there's more to the brain and more to the world than science would ever have us
science
guess.
cannot explain stuff like that.
Not at all.
Not at all?
No, they call it an anomalous experience, which means
nobody
we have no idea is what it means. That's what it means.
Oh, thank you so much. So the book is called The Shoe on the Roof by Will Ferguson, available right now. I'm halfway through it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And I always like to ask you what's next.
Well, what's next, I hope, is a trip. I want to travel to Iceland, and I want to travel to Easter Island. So I'm trying to convince someone to send me there.
So you can write about it.
Yes, that's right.
Well, good luck. I hope you get there. If you go to Iceland, I've been. I can give you some great places to go.
I would love some tips.
You got to go. You got to go. Will Ferguson, the book's called The Shoe on the Roof. A pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Always good to see you.
A Calgary author, award-winning author, really genuine, good human being as well.